welcome to the European Parliament in Brussels for this week's Talking Europe debate on France 24. Today, talking defence. Now, here's a quote for you. When there's war again on our continent, you cannot be neutral. Those are the words of Denmark's Prime Minister after her country voted by a two-thirds majority to end the Danish opt-out from EU defence and security policy. Well, as Vladimir Putin continues his war against Ukraine, Denmark is not alone in the EU in making some historic moves regarding European defence. Finland and Sweden recently applied to join NATO, while the European Union's biggest member state, Germany, is promising to boost its defence spending immediately. Well, today, for our debate, I'm joined by the chair of the European Parliament's Security and Defence Subcommittee, Nathalie Loiseau, a French MEP from Emmanuel Macron's centrist Renew Group. We also have with us one of the 5 vice chairs of that same committee, As Vladimir, a German MEP from the Left Group. And we're joined by Ville Niinisto, a Finnish MEP from the Greens Group. Hello, thanks to all of you for being with us.
Hello.
Thank you.
Madame Loiseau, I'll come to you first as the chair of that committee, as I said. We've also had an EU summit at the end of May with leaders agreeing to spend 500 million euros by the end of next year on reinforcing defence industrial capabilities through joint procurement of military equipment. With all of this going on, can we say Vladimir Putin has actually changed how Europe sees its own defence, how it is approaching its own defence?
Yes, definitely. I mean, the world is changing. We have a war in Europe, and we cannot look the other way anymore. So indeed, this week we had Denmark joining the European defence efforts, letting down its previous exception, which is a big step. And the heads of state and government are supporting joint procurement of military equipment so that we stop being fragmented, each and every single member state. And of course, for some weeks now, we have been providing military equipment to support Ukraine with, once again, something completely new, the European Peace Facility, more than 2 billion euros.
Ville Niinisto, as I said, your country, Finland, applying to join NATO. You yourself, an enthusiastic supporter of that, even though traditionally Greens tend to be less in favour of joining military alliances.
Yeah, well, yes, I have been pro-NATO membership starting from beginning of January when Putin started to speak about sphere of influence in last December. So I think it was a signal to countries like Sweden and Finland that there is no real room for military non-alignment between Russia and NATO anymore because Russia doesn't respect it. And then when the full-scale onslaught in the war in Ukraine started and all the war crimes, I think majority of the population in Finland very fast realized that also European Union will be strengthened, that more EU members are also in NATO. So we have the defence planning from NATO and then EU cooperation. So it's both that we opted.
As Vladimir, going to you, there does seem to be, as our other guests have said, a very strong political will, a lot of support among populations in Europe for more defence. They want something to be done. People are worried and scared.
Yes, if I'm allowed to, I also wanted to answer on the question if Putin has changed the will in Europe or the politics in Europe. First of all, we have to say we have to condemn this war of aggression of Vladimir Putin. And we don't have to question that it's not acceptable what he started. But I wouldn't say that he has changed the will or the mind in Europe. It's more or less that we had this debate on, for example, military union and European Union since a long time, but the people in Europe are opposing militarization because of the history. And what I am seeing now is that the politics, the governments are using now this war and the afraidness of the people in Europe to go on with the steps of the military union. Maybe you remember what Mrs. von der Leyen, the Commission's president, had told us before 2 years. And she had said the main project we have to build up is the military union, the defense union, she's calling. But the danger on that, what we are now seeing is that militarization doesn't mean that we will have more safety, more peace in the world, but it will mean that we will have rising the danger of wars. And this is why I'm opposing what happens now.
Well, I'm not sure you can say that people oppose more defense in Europe. If you look at the results of the Conference on the Future of Europe, there was a strong push from citizens asking even for a European army, which is something extremely complex, but they are asking for more defense of our values, of our freedoms, of our democracies. We are not warmongers. We don't want to attack anyone, but we want to be respected, to be taken seriously, and obviously with players like Vladimir Putin, he only respects countries or blocs which are strong. And if Finland wants to join NATO, it's because never ever has Vladimir Putin dared attacking a NATO country.
Yes, that is correct. And I think it's important for us to also focus on this, that while we want to increase European focus on defense issues, even as Finnish Greens, we don't want unnecessary militarization, or we still need to see that we can continue with military disarmament wherever possible. But as long as there is a Russia led by Vladimir Putin that doesn't respect democracy, international law, and has thinks that they have a right to invade sovereign nations, neighboring countries, I think it's important that Europe also stands up for democracy. So this is about our values protecting democracy. It's also a core European value and a precondition for sustainable peace.
But if I may answer on it, 2 points. The first point is we are not talking about defense politics, to be honest. We are talking about militarization. This is a main difference between what you are saying and what we are having. And we have to say, for example, that the European member states had, before starting this war in Ukraine, had 4 times more money spent in military goods and in their defense politics. So we have spent more money, and we have, just as a European Union, if we are regarding the NATO, the spends of the NATO for military equipments, for their possibilities, is more than 10, 14 times more than what Russia has. So we have to be honest in this debate, and to be also honest, it's yes, I want to defend democracy, but militarization doesn't mean that we will have more liberal democracy. It's always going on also with less of liberal democracy, and this is the danger. And to be honest, even European member states had started in the past wars in Libya, in Afghanistan, in Kosovo, and this was also wars we had to condemn.
Well, if I can come back on that, there are currently many assessments that European states are at risk of attack of different kinds, perhaps hybrid type attacks, cyber attacks, Finland's been talking about. We've even had on Russian state TV officials talking about how quickly their missiles could reach Paris, London, Berlin. How should Europe respond to that?
First of all, it's clear that Europe is safe, really safe in this case, that the capacity of the European Union and its member states on defense politics is big. What we have to talk about after ending this war, the first step, we need that the Russian troops goes out of Ukraine. But afterwards, we have to debate about, for example, not more and more armament projects, but to build up a security system in Europe and worldwide, which is spending less money to armament worldwide. We have to debate on this. We have to build up a security architecture, which is regarding all the interests of all the countries all over the world.
Ville Niinistö, you want to come in on that?
Yeah, I think it's also you have to realize that going deeper in European security and defense policies means that we can do more defense, create more security with the same resources. So it's not always more money. It's about sharing and pooling, having common projects, have common planning, getting more with the money we are spending on defense together. And I think that's an added value we have to realize. And something as a Green coming from Finland with those 1,300 kilometers of border with Russia, it's not a theoretical issue for us. I feel that in Western Europe sometimes there is this sense of, kind of like that, not the sense of urgency that democracy and human rights sometimes need to be protected also with defense cooperation, because we feel that if Russia continues this path, there will be other countries also at risk, not just Ukraine.
As politicians, our first responsibility is to make our best efforts to protect our citizens. And you're right to say that if we add the efforts made by member states, we look like a strong power. But we are not, because our armaments are fragmented. They cannot operate one with another. The idea is first to be able to have our stockpile refilled, because right now sending equipment to Ukraine means that we are emptying our stockpiles. We know very well that for Germany, the state of the Bundeswehr has been described by the defense minister as problematic. And the idea is not necessarily to spend more, but to spend better, to be able to be certain that we don't have 17 different types of fighter jets or war ships, that we can be taken seriously, that we are relevant.
And then we can stop the Russia's kind of like divide and conquer policy. I guess you agree on that European Union should be united against the Russian threat.
One last word, we're running out of time.
It sounds very nice to say, yes, we have to bring our capacities together, build up an system together, but the reality, for example, on the EDF, on the European Defence Fund, is not just bringing capacities together, but building up a European armament industry which is stronger than in the past. And we have one of the strongest armament industries, and this is one of the problems in the world. And
no, that's an illusion.
Stop wars, and to stop wars means always trying to find political solutions, trying to save the people, trying to... Okay, I will stop here now.
Well, I think we understand there's quite a strong disagreement there on the capacities currently in Europe. Thank you all so much for bringing us your different points of view on this issue. Vilain Inisto, Nathalie Loiseau and Özlem Demirel, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks to you for watching as well. Hope to see you soon for another France 24 debate.